When all crumbles, what remains? To fight for sacred trust? This is where ancient tales truly end. Against an endless tide, courage became a prayer. Each swing, a desperate whisper. Darkness was truly coming. He saw not just stone fall, but faith. A fortress, yes, but also a heart, slowly breaking within. The silence after storm. A new dawn breaks, but for whom? This world would never quite be the same. Imagine a world poised on a knife edge, a fragile balance, about to shatter. It stood utterly alone. This was Rhodes in 1522. A jewel, yes, yet also a lonely sentinel, watching that horizon. Peril hung like a heavy mist, a breath held tight across these ancient, scarred stones. It was coming. The stakes were immense, stretching beyond these walls, touching the very soul of a continent. Here stood a brotherhood forged in fire, an ancient order. The Knights Hospitaller, steadfast in their purpose then. They were the last bastion, a flickering lamp, a final outpost of Christendom's ancient heart, standing still. Facing them, an empire in terrifying prime, vast, ambitious, an unstoppable tide, swelling to consume it. Its young, ambitious sultan harbored a grand vision. Rhodes, a stubborn obstacle, could no longer remain here. This wasn't merely about taking a fortress. It was tearing at the very fabric of their identity. An identity, built on centuries of crusades and devotion, was about to be utterly, completely broken now. Their very existence hung by a thread, a single, fragile filament, stretched taut, threatening to finally give. This story, my friends, is more than history. It is an epic, a cinematic clash of titans. We will delve deep into this confrontation, walking the very walls they defended. Feel it now. A monumental military struggle where ingenuity met brute force. Every soul fought for their belief. The outcome would redraw maps, reshape destinies, and echo through the corridors of power for years. It's a tale of impossible odds, profound sacrifice, and the unwavering spirit of humanity's deepest struggle. Come with me now. Let us step back in time, to a moment when an island changed everything there. Prepare yourselves, for this is the siege that didn't just conquer walls, it shattered their very world. Before the great siege, before the roar of cannons, we must journey back to their beginning. In the dusty heart of the Holy Land, a different kind of protector first emerged. Humble, yet resolute. They were the Hospitallers, sworn to care for the sick and weary pilgrims, a sacred duty. Their initial path was one of compassion, a gentle balm in a harsh and unforgiving world. But the times shifted, and these gentle healers learned to wield the sword, becoming warrior monks. They took up arms, not for conquest, but to defend the very lives they once only healed. Their foundational role in the Crusades was complex, a tapestry woven with threads of faith and steel. The Crusader states eventually faltered, and with them, the Hospitallers had to seek new homes. Their journey across the waves brought them, finally, to the sun-drenched shores of Rhodes. By 1309, Rhodes became their new sanctuary, their formidable stronghold, a home carved from stone. The island was not merely land, it was a canvas for their defiance, their very purpose made manifest. They meticulously transformed Rhodes into an impenetrable fortress, a strategic jewel beyond compare. From its ramparts, they commanded the sea lanes, a vigilant sentinel of the eastern Mediterranean. Rhodes stood as a proud symbol, a beacon of Christian resistance in a shifting, volatile world. It was a constant, aggravating thorn in the side of the great Muslim empires surrounding them. The knights, hailing from many lands, shared an immense pride in their shared brotherhood and purpose. Their wealth accumulated over centuries, not just in gold, but in land and unwavering prestige. Their status grew, solidifying their place as a powerful, autonomous force on the world stage. They were not just a religious order, they were a formidable military power, respected and feared. Rhodes and its knights became the final bulwark against Ottoman expansion in the Mediterranean. They stood firm, a stubborn obstacle, directly in the path of a rapidly growing, unstoppable empire. Their very existence in the East was a perpetual challenge to Ottoman dominance, a constant affront. This wasn't the first time the shadow of the Ottoman crescent had fallen upon their island. 30 years prior, in 1480, another mighty Ottoman army had besieged Rhodes with great intent. But the knights, with courage and ingenious defense, had repelled that massive invasion successfully. That victory, a proud memory, fueled their resolve. Confirming their fortress was truly unyielding, it instilled a confidence, perhaps even a touch of hubris, in their ability to endure anything. They believed in their walls, their faith, and their legendary prowess against any aggressor. But the world was changing. A new sultan now ruled, with an even grander, more terrifying vision. The stage was set for a new, far more desperate challenge. Rhodes stood, awaiting its fate. Now, let's turn our gaze eastward, to a power equally formidable, equally destined for glory. This was the heart of an empire, stretching across continents, a titan awakening to its immense strength. Its coffers overflowed, its armies vast, its ambition boundless. The world watched, mesmerized, or trembled. Into this world stepped Suleiman, a young sultan, just 26, but bearing the weight of generations. He was not merely a ruler, he was a visionary, destined to reshape the very maps of his age. From his earliest days, a grand purpose stirred within him, to elevate his empire to unparalleled heights. They called him the Magnificent, not just for power, but for justice, wisdom, and an unwavering spirit. His dream was a unified realm where justice flowed like a river, and his authority knew no challenge. Under his hand, the empire swelled, a force of nature expanding its reach with relentless, steady purpose. This was the zenith, a golden age where Ottoman power shone brightest, commanding respect, even fear. From fertile crescent to bustling ports, resources flowed, feeding the engine of this burgeoning, powerful state. He possessed a keen mind, understanding strategy not just of land, but of the vital, open sea. But a small island, Rhodes, remained an intolerable challenge, a persistent pebble in his imperial shoe. The Knights of Street John, those resilient few, clung to their rock, a constant affront to his authority. Rhodes, a strategic pivot, controlled his eastern flank, a gate he needed to swing wide, for his empire, for trade to flourish, for pilgrims to journey safely. This obstacle, this island, needed to fall. And the knights, they pressed their advantage, their galleys constantly harassing Ottoman shipping without cease. Ottoman vessels, laden with goods or carrying devout pilgrims, were easy prey for these island predators. Even the sacred journey to Mecca was imperiled, a sacred duty made dangerous by these Christian raiders. This persistent disruption, this open defiance, chipped away at his patience, stirring the lion within. It became an undeniable slight, an inciting incident that could no longer be ignored or tolerated. The time for negotiation was past. The time for decisive action, for swift retribution, was at hand. Across the empire, a colossal machinery began to stir, preparing for an undertaking of immense scale. From every corner, the might of the Ottoman fleet gathered, a spectacle of wood, canvas, and ambition. And on land, an army, vast beyond reckoning, converged, an unstoppable juggernaut, resolute and formidable. The sheer scale of it was terrifying, an overwhelming force poised to descend upon the defiant island. The air grew heavy with anticipation. The whispers of war turned into a thunderous, undeniable roar. The tiny island, a beacon of resistance, now stood alone, awaiting the inevitable, crushing tide. Then came the formal declaration, a chilling sentence, sealing the fate of Rhodes, for good or ill. The die was cast. The siege that would shatter the Knights Hospitaller was about to begin. The world held its breath, a quiet prelude. Change was coming, carried on the very wind. Then, an endless shadow crept across the sea, swallowing light, silencing the ancient waves. A fleet like no other, a metal beast stretching far beyond sight, bore down. Tens of thousands, elite janissaries, a human tide poised to crash upon Rhodes's shores. Their cannons, monsters of bronze and iron, promised a thunderous fury never before seen. Every piece, a testament to raw power, meticulously placed, aimed at the city's heart. And there, the proud city of Rhodes, a beacon of defiance, awaited its inevitable fate. Grandmaster Lailadam, burdened by history, saw the storm, felt its cold breath. The knights, fewer in number, worked tirelessly, their hands moving with desperate, grim determination. Every crack, every ancient stone, reinforced. A silent prayer whispered into the very mortar. The city's skin was thickened, strengthened against the coming blows, a shield against devastation. Beyond the walls, forests vanished, revealing open ground where no enemy could hide. Every stone, every bush removed, creating a killing field, a cruel welcome for the invaders. Rhodian men, blacksmiths and farmers answered the call, their courage a quiet, firm defiance. They learned to hold the line, to defend their homes, their families, with all their heart. Even the women and children played their part, their small hands upholding the city's heart. The Italian bastion stood formidable, a testament to medieval might, guarding its designated sector. Its walls, already robust, were fortified further, anticipating the concentrated fury it would face. The Spanish bastion, equally strong, held a commanding view, a watchful eye on the approaches. Cannons were mounted, silently awaiting their grim purpose, ready to unleash fire and steel. The French bastion, proud and tall, prepared its defenders for the storm soon to break. Knights of France, with their men-at-arms, secured their segment, a brotherhood forged in resolve. The English bastion, stoic and unwavering, became a bulwark against the overwhelming tide. Ammunition and supplies stockpiled within, a grim arsenal for the inevitable, brutal fight. The German bastion, built for resilience, awaited the relentless assault it was sure to endure. Ingenuity fortified its exterior, a thorny embrace for those who dared approach too closely. The Auvergne bastion, venerable and staunch, readied itself for its final, heroic stand. Old wounds mended, stones reset, each repair a defiant act against coming destruction. The Provence bastion, strong, defiant, watched the horizon, its heart beating with dread. Defenders, a mix of seasoned warriors and anxious citizens, stood ready for the first strike. The Arcanis bastion, guardian of the harbor, watched for dangers by land and sea. Its strategic gaze held both land and water, a dual defense for the besieged city. The knights, scholars of war, pored over maps, their minds racing, seeking every advantage. Earthworks rose, new lines of defense carved from ground, a desperate, valiant effort. Hidden paths and sheltered ways, a network of defiance, prepared for the coming inferno. Resolve hardened like steel, a silent pact to fight until their very last breath. Prayers rose to the heavens, a desperate plea for strength, for mercy, for a miracle. The Grand Master moved among his people, a shepherd among his flock, offering solace. Twilight descended upon Rhodes, casting long shadows, mirroring heavy hearts within the walls. Across the water, 1,000 enemy fires flickered, a silent promise of tomorrow's brutal dawn. The great gates were shut, a final, unyielding statement against the encroaching darkness. A lone sentinel stood, guardian of hope, his gaze fixed on the ominous, silent horizon. The wind whispered old tales through stones, a sorrowful dirge for what was to come. And then, the new day broke, not with hope, but with cold, heavy breath of war. Dawn's fragile peace shattered. Distant thunder announced a relentless, earth-shattering symphony of iron and fire. The Ottoman cannons roared, not just a sound, but a physical blow against Rhodes's very soul. Dust and stone rained down, a constant choking reminder of the siege's brutal, unyielding intensity. Once proud walls began to weep stone, crumbling under a ceaseless, terrifying, and overwhelming deluge of shot. Under a sky of fire, weary hands raced against time, desperately trying to mend the city's gaping wounds. The constant thrum of cannon fire, a terrible heartbeat, slowly eroded their resolve, day after grueling day. The mighty ramparts, once defiant, now bore the deep, painful scars of an unceasing, brutal, methodical assault. Every moment became a desperate struggle, reinforcing what broke, enduring the impossible, holding on. Their hands, raw and bleeding, became extensions of their will, refusing to yield even an inch. Then, the earth trembled. A section of wall vanished, leaving a gaping, dreadful wound. A gateway. The horns blared, a sound to curdle blood. The first human tide surged forward, a sea of resolve. Swarming the breaches, they came like an unstoppable flood, testing the very last fibers of resistance. Steel met flesh, shield met blade. A desperate, bloody dance of survival unfolded upon the shattered stones. With every desperate thrust, every parry, they defended not just stone, but a sacred promise. The breaches became altars of sacrifice, soaked in blood, where courage and despair met in equal measure. Even the city's heart felt the tremors of war. Loved ones prayed, clutching silent fears. Yet, a new, unseen war began to unfold beneath their feet, a claustrophobic dance with darkness. Beneath the surface, unseen enemies burrowed like moles, undermining foundations, seeking the city's soft underbelly. The defenders, too, descended into the dark, listening to the earth, trying to outwit their unseen foe. Suddenly, earth gave way. Desperate, intimate battles erupted in tunnels where vision failed. A terrifying, claustrophobic ballet of blades in absolute darkness, where trust was everything. The earth itself became an enemy. Tunnels collapsed, burying hope alongside shattered stone. They returned from the deep, haunted by unseen horrors, carrying the dust of despair. Above ground, another silent enemy grew. Empty stores, echoing the growing hunger within the city. Sickness, too, began its insidious spread, weakening bodies already pushed beyond human limits. Under such duress, even brothers in arms found their tempers fraying, their unity tested. Physical exhaustion became a constant companion, a heavy cloak weighing down every tired limb. The mind, too, began to unravel. Endless nights and days blurred into a single terrifying ordeal. Beyond the walls, the Ottoman camp seemed to stretch forever, an endless sea of fresh soldiers. While Rhodes weakened, the enemy's resolve only hardened, bringing forth ever more destructive machines. Each sunrise brought renewed attacks. Each sunset left them with less, yet their spirit flickered. The wounded piled up, remedies dwindled, and the shadow of despair lengthened across the land. Yet, amidst the suffering, a quiet defiance burned, a silent promise to protect this cherished place. Another wave, another surge. Their numbers seemed endless, a terrifying, relentless, crushing tide. In shared hunger, in shared fear, new bonds were forged, deep as the earth they defended. They looked to ancient stones, to sacred symbols, for strength in their dwindling, desperate hour. The walls, though scarred and broken, still held, a testament to their courage, their sacrifice. The enemy, methodical and patient, learned from every failed assault, refining their brutal strategy. Brief respites were only preludes to more terror, more bloodshed, more desperate, unending struggle. Even the children felt the heavy air of dread, their innocence tainted by the war's bitter taste. The sheer scale of the enemy, an ocean against a rock, slowly tightened its unforgiving grasp. With dwindling hope and strength, they clung to their duty, to their faith, to their very last breath. Rhodes, a crucible of fire and steel, continued to burn, yet its spirit, somehow, endured. As evening fell, the scarred walls whispered tales of valor, of sacrifice, and of profound, desperate hope. The air hung heavy, a breath held captive before the storm. Dawn promised not light, but reckoning. Across the fields, an army stirred, a sea of silent resolve, preparing its final, terrible surge. Then, the distant drum, a heartbeat echoing fate. The calm shattered, replaced by an unstoppable tide. Thunder ripped the air. Iron rain descended, pounding ancient stone. Rhodes braced, her final moments drawing nigh. Each explosion, a tremor in their souls, a reminder of the monumental task ahead. They stood ready. The ground trembled with their charge. A sea of bodies surged, covering the earth, inexorably closer now. Sound became a monstrous beast, devouring all peace. The world shrank to this deafening, terrible symphony. Visibility faded. Only courage and instinct guided them through the suffocating, smoke-filled, desperate inferno. A deadly blizzard of projectiles, each whisper of wind carrying death. Yet they held their ground, no single point untouched. The enemy sought to overwhelm, to break them, everywhere at once. A wall of flesh against a tide of fury. Every inch of ground became a battlefield, fiercely contested. Personal struggles, raw and primal, unfolded in the dust. Life and death decided in desperate moments. Weariness clung to their very bones, but a fire burned. A final, defiant flicker against the night. The breaches widened, hungry mouths in the stone. Through them, the tide of despair began to flow. The street, once a market, now a river of conflict. Every home's threshold a new battle line. Even the oldest hands, once tending hearth and home, now joined the fray. Their city demanded it. In the chaos, acts of pure, simple bravery shone like beacons. Humanity's light in darkness. He watched, his heart a heavy stone. Each fallen defender a wound deep within his very soul. A moment of selfless sacrifice. A final defiant act against overwhelming odds. A memory born from fire. The tide receded, carrying hope with it. Each step backward felt like the end of their world. The city burned, her beauty consumed by war's harsh breath. A silent scream in the night. Enemy flags, symbols of inevitable conquest, now flew over ravaged walls. A chilling, sorrowful sight. They gathered, a few brave souls, for one final surge, a last, desperate, glorious defiance. Their valiant charge met a crushing wall. Hope's fragile flame flickered, threatening to extinguish. Another brave heart silenced. Another light extinguished too soon. The cost was truly unbearable. He fought, not just as a leader, but as one of them, a shepherd protecting his dwindling flock. Their eyes held stories of relentless struggle, immeasurable loss. Yet, a flicker of defiance remained. The day bled into evening, mirroring their plight. The sun's setting, a somber, final farewell. A brief, terrifying hush, the world holding its breath. Then, the storm's fury returned anew. The enemy walked where citizens once strolled. The city's heart, now pierced, bled slowly away. The grim news arrived, each word a hammer blow to his soul. The truth, stark and unavoidable. He saw not just stone and fire, but the lives dependent on his choice. A crushing burden, a silent battle raged within him, a war of duty against love for his devoted people. The lure of glorious death, a knight's ultimate path. Yet, the price, too heavy for any soul. Their eyes mirrored his own despair. No counsel could soften this agonizing, solitary, fateful choice. Rhodes, once proud, now lay broken, a testament to unrelenting siege. The end felt impossibly near. A moment of quiet contemplation, a silent plea for guidance. The weight of worlds rested upon him. The choice, though agonizing, now clear. Not for glory, but for the innocent lives he held. His words, though gentle, carried the weight of surrender. A bitter taste, a necessary sorrow. The white flag, a symbol of hope and defeat, fluttered softly. A profound, aching silence fell. The roar of battle softened, then died. Only the wind and the city's cries remained. Their advance halted, weapons lowered. A moment of bewildered quiet, a pause in humanity's unending storm. He stood, a lonely figure amidst the ashes, a leader's heaviest burden carried with quiet dignity. Night fell, not with peace, but with the quiet sorrow of surrender. Rhodes, forever changed. The cannons fell silent, a stillness descended, heavier than any battle's roar. A profound hush. Rhodes, once vibrant, now lay scarred. Every stone whispered stories of courage and despair. A cold dawn broke over shattered dreams. Smoke drifted, a somber shroud over fallen heroes. In the heart of the Ottoman camp, Suleiman pondered. The victor, yet touched by what he witnessed. Across the shattered divide, Adam faced a future utterly changed. His burden immense, the first hesitant steps towards a truce, a fragile bridge between two exhausted worlds. A tense air hung heavy. Swords might be sheathed, but battle's echoes still resonated. Suleiman the Magnificent observed the ruins. He saw not just victory, but unmatched defiance. The bravery of these defenders, their unwavering spirit, had etched itself into his memory. A surprising clemency emerged from the victor's heart. He recognized honor, even in foes. True greatness, perhaps, lies in respecting the courage of an adversary. A profound truth. The terms were laid bare. An honorable path, a chance to depart with dignity. They could carry their arms, their banners, their faith. A precious, unexpected concession. Even the island's Christian citizens were offered safe passage, a generous, uncommon gesture. Never before had such terms been given to a defeated foe. It was an astonishing moment. The weight of his order, his people, bore down. A choice no leader ever wishes. To accept meant surrender, the bitterest of pills. Yet, life for his remaining brethren. With a heavy heart, the Grand Master assented. Rhodes, their beloved home, would be relinquished. To leave this ancient stronghold, built with generations of sweat and prayer, was agonizing. Rhodes, their home, their shield, their very soul. Now, only memories remained for them. The exodus began, a somber procession, not a retreat, but a dignified, sorrowful departure. Many citizens, loyal to their protectors, chose to follow, embracing an unknown future. As the Ottoman banner unfurled, a new chapter began, closing a profoundly old one. As we close this chapter, let us reflect on echoes across centuries, shaping what was to come. The ripples of history, sometimes unseen, carry profound significance, touching every corner of our world. Rhodes' fall was more than a battle lost. It signaled the true end of the Crusader dream. A sunset on an old world, a somber curtain falling on an age of crusades. For the Ottoman Empire, it was a triumph, a resounding declaration of their rising might. Suleiman's banners now unfurled across the seas, asserting absolute dominance, a new order emerging. The Eastern Mediterranean, once a contested space, now firmly within the Sultan's powerful grasp. Yet, for the Knights, this wasn't an annihilation, but rather a crucible, a painful refining, a shattering transformation indeed, forging them anew, tempering their spirit for what lay ahead. Their arduous journey began, a pilgrimage of survival, seeking refuge, a place to simply belong, wandering across the waves, carrying their wounded pride, their faith, and their enduring purpose. Homeless, yet unbroken, their spirit, a stubborn ember, waiting for the gentle breath of hope. Then, a glimmer, Malta, a barren rock, perhaps, but a chance for rebirth. On that lonely island, they would rise again, phoenix-like, from Rhodes's very ashes. Forever after, they'd be known as the Knights of Malta, a new identity forged in hardship. Rhodes had changed them, deepened their resolve, embedding its lessons deeply within their hearts. The siege also showed the evolving face of war, gunpowder's relentless, destructive power emerging. A shift from old ways, where walls meant safety, to a new era of overwhelming fire. The human cost of such empire building is immense, painted in tears, sacrifice, and quiet suffering. Beyond strategies and treaties, remember the countless ordinary souls who bore this heavy burden, but also the incredible resilience of a dedicated few holding fast to their sacred oaths. Rhodes 1522. A pivotal moment, truly, forever redrawing the maps of Europe and the Mediterranean. A story of loss, yes, but also of profound endurance, echoing softly through the long ages. The dust settled on Rhodes, but its echoes persist. A story of human will against overwhelming odds, forever etched. Rhodes taught the world harsh lessons in siegecraft. Fortifications and gunpowder forever changed war's grim, deadly face. The fall of Rhodes reshaped the very fabric of empire. The balance of power shifted, subtly, irrevocably, profoundly. What courage burns within a heart facing endless might? A quiet strength, a defiant flame against the storm's fury. Both victor and vanquished paid dearly. The soil drank deep from their sacrifice, a somber, silent, eternal testament. This was more than a siege. It was the clash of worlds. Ideals, faiths, and empires met, irrevocably, beautifully intertwined. Suleiman's grand vision swept across lands. Yet, even great conquerors met unyielding, stubborn, valiant resistance, always. Though broken, their spirit found a new harbor. The Knights, ever resilient, would rise again. In Malta, a new chapter. History whispers through these ancient stones. The stories of endurance and struggle resonate even today, profoundly, in our hearts. This saga, truly, belongs to the grandest tales, an epic of human spirit, resilience, and heartbreaking loss. Remembered now, their legacy endures, a testament to what we can bear. A quiet strength, remembered always, a profound, human truth. If this journey through time touched your heart, please offer a gentle like. It truly helps our shared journey. For more sagas from the annals of history, consider joining our growing circle of friends. There are many stories. What other sieges do you feel changed history? Share your thoughts below, friends, and let us discuss.